Good evening and welcome to the annual organizational meeting of the Board of Trustees of the Village of Pleasantville. Today is Monday, April 4, 2016. It is not our typical meeting, today being the first Monday in the month of April, which is stipulated in state law as the annual organizational meeting. In a year when there is an election, this is the occasion to swear in new members of the board or elected officials, but this is an off year and there is no election, and so our focus tonight is on a series of less than thrilling but nonetheless required resolutions. So the first three are mayoral appointments, which I will read. Number 49, resolve the Board of Trustees hereby approves the following persons to the positions listed below for terms in accordance with village law. Village Clerk Judith Weintraub through April 2018. Deputy Village Clerk Patricia Dwyer through April 2017. Deputy Village Treasurer Noreen Reagan through April 2017. Acting Village Justice Virginia Collins through April 2017. Village Prosecutor George Pappas through April 2017. Assessor Lloyd Taish through April 2017. Trustee for the Police Pension Fund to serve with the Mayor and the Police Chief, Steve Lord through April 2017. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion approved. I think we have one member left in the police pension fund.
Actually, I don't think you have any, but I think we still have to keep it alive for audit purposes, meaning
Yes, sir.
representation.
I see.
But
Yep.
I think we're finished with the
That is a local pension fund that has long since been supplanted by the state pension fund, but there were some remaining people on it, now none. So,
Right.
resolution number 50, resolve the Board of Trustees hereby approves the following trustee assignments to various boards, committees, and commissions. Trustee Stargiotti, PCTV, and the Fire Department, and the Affordable Housing Committee. Trustee Wagner, Parks and Recreation Advisory Board, Zoning Board of Appeals, and Architectural Review Board. Trustee Lord, School District, Conservation Advisory Board, and Foodchester Farmers Market. Trustee Berard, the Library Board, the Recycling Committee, and Beautification Committee. Mayor Shearer, Planning Board, Chamber of Commerce, and Sustainable Westchester. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion approved. Resolution 51, resolve the Board of Trustees approves the mayor's appointments of the following persons to various boards, commissions, and committees. The Zoning Board, a 5-year term to expire 2021, Austin Campriello. Planning Commission, 3-year terms to expire 2019, Stephen Harrigan, David Keller, Robert Stone, and Scott Blaisdell. Architectural Review Board, a 3-year term to expire 2019, Jane Schwedfeger. Ethics Board, a 1-year term to expire 2017, John Nona. Parks and Rec Advisory Board, 3-year terms to expire 2019, Lori Shea, Armand D'Angelo, and Dan Meritz. Conservation Advisory Council, 2-year term to expire 2018, Lisa Brown. Village Curator, 1-year term to expire 2017, Karsten Johnson. Beautification Committee, 1-year terms to expire 2017, Kathy Dinkle, Marion Coughlin, Franz Brabella, Elizabeth Ward, Tanya Cunningham, Marlene Canapi, Marilyn Ross, Pat January, and Virginia Pancotti. And the Recycling Committee, 1-year terms to expire 2017, Dan Turner, Kim Turner, Ruth Fisher, Sharon Evrutik, Helen Muir, Danielle Barry Gass, Jane Carr, Edwin Kuo, Linda Schenkman Curtis, Andrea Garbarini, Pradeep Bowie, Pat January, and Virginia Pancotti. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion approved. Steve, 52.
52, resolved that the Board of Trustees shall hold a regular meeting at 8 p.m. on the second and fourth Monday of each month, except April, when the organizational meeting shall be the first Monday and shall convene at 7 p.m. Work sessions shall commence at 7 p.m. on the second and fourth Monday of each month from May through December, then every Monday at 7 p.m. during the months of January, February, March, and April. When any such meeting date falls on a legal holiday, the meeting shall be held on the next succeeding day unless amended by the Board of Trustees. All meetings of the Board of Trustees will take place at Village Hall, 80 Wheeler Avenue, second floor, unless otherwise noticed.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
I have some questions
Okay.
or concerns and comments. And I don't know, the 2016, I see that we have work sessions in December where we don't normally. And I find that's it's tough to have a regular meeting the day after Christmas, as far as I'm concerned. I mean, some people go away. If we have work sessions scheduled. I don't know why we never have a work session in December that I remember. Anyway,
that's probably my error, and I was, putting them in.
So I was wondering if we can move those dates for that specific month for make those work sessions regular sessions just for that month, so we can fall a little bit easier for scheduling and people going away and family coming in town and things like that. I don't know if that's a problem.
Well, that's reasonable. Yeah. So we shouldn't have work sessions. I mean, the text of the resolution suggests that we wouldn't have those work sessions in the month of December, so that's easy to solve.
So we should be meeting the 12th and the 26th.
Right.
Maybe we do the other.
If there's a check register issue there, so what we often do as we approach the holidays is confer about who's around when and have a regular meeting the week between Christmas and New Year's, but not likely on Monday, depending on who's available. So
that would be fine with me. We could amend it as
Okay.
whatever, but it just at least.
Yeah. No, I think that's all reasonable.
And then the other thing is still in 2016, Judy, Passover is 4/22 to 4/30, and I see that we have 4/25. Is that a problem?
Current month?
This month is. Do I have that right? Passover is 4/22. The first day is 4/22,
So
Then we have
and the
Monday,
last,
Wednesday.
and then do I have
it's a
the,
Friday and a Saturday,
Right.
so no, this should
so
not
there's
be a
no
conflict.
problems with Seders or anything. Okay. And then my other question was back in 2017. I don't ever. Also, I don't remember. I know we said we start our work sessions in January, but I don't remember them starting the day after New Year's. I know it's falling funny this year. We usually start the work sessions after the first regular meeting. I don't know why we have to have a work session on January 2nd. I mean, I think, again, it could, if we start our regular meetings on the 9th and then we continue with work sessions, I think that's, a little, I don't think we
that's
really need
reasonable.
that. You're not going to be ready with anything
No,
for a
it's-
budget.
Right.
That's why we're
It's a
having
little
them.
premature. We usually start our regular Mondays after Martin Luther King weekend, which is usually the 3rd anyway. So you're right. We should just start on January 9th for a regular meeting and then start our
Work sessions.
work
Right.
sessions. The 16th will probably be a holiday anyway, so you may want to make a note of that.
Right. I mean,
January
inevitably
16th.
there'll be some tinkering with this. Again, all with the
Right.
proper required notice.
Right.
So
We just
And
put this-
then there's just the one other thing is that we have, in 2017, you scheduled April 10th as a meeting, and that's the first day of Passover, and I think that's a problem. That's a big Seder, right, on the first day? Yeah, and we have a regular meeting. It's just not,
Right. It is.
we never, ever had a meeting on Passover, on the first day of Passover. And we could change that up. That's a
yeah.
year.
So as long as you're okay,
Over a year from now.
as long as you're okay with, we'll tinker with that as the time
Thank you.
arrives. The changes reflected here that refer to the text of the resolution are that we will not have a work session on the first Monday of January
Right, and in December.
and in December. So
Right.
the mover and the second are okay with that?
Yes, sir.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion approved. Number 53.
Is that me?
That's you.
That's
Resolved
you.
that the Board of Trustees hereby sets the following procedure for calling for a special meeting by the Board of Trustees. A special meeting can be called by either the mayor or at least two trustees acting together. The Board of Trustees will be contacted by telephone, text, fax, or email. In the event a special meeting is to be called, all attempts will be made to contact the news media and public as soon as practical?
Practical.
Practicable?
Practical.
Practical, not practicable.
Yeah.
After calling for the special meeting.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion approved. Colleen, 54.
Resolved that the Board of Trustees hereby designates the Journal News and the Examiner as the official newspapers for the Village of Pleasantville.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion approved. Joe, 55.
Resolved that the Board of Trustees hereby approves the following authorized signatories for financial transactions at all depositories: Peter Shear, Mayor; Mary Schwartz, Treasurer; and Noreen Reagan, Deputy Treasurer.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion approved. 56. Steve.
Okay, this is a little longer. So resolved that the Bank of New York, the J.P. Morgan Chase Bank, Wells Fargo Bank, TD Bank, Sterling National Bank, Webster Bank, Tompkins Mailpac, and Cooperative Liquid Asset Security Systems be and the same are and the same, are hereby designated as depositories for all funds of the Village of Pleasantville, and it is hereby directed that all funds of the Village of Pleasantville shall be deposited in said banks unless otherwise specifically authorized. And be it further resolved that no funds shall be paid by the treasurer of the Village of Pleasantville except pursuant to a judgment or order or an audit and allowance by the Board of Trustees as required by law, and an order designating such funds signed by the mayor or deputy mayor and countersigned by the treasurer or in his or her absence by the deputy treasurer. And be it further resolved that all checks or drafts or instruments for the withdrawal of money of the village from said depositories shall be signed by the treasurer. Excuse me. Payment of principal and interest on duly issued village bonds and certificates of indebtedness or tax notes may be paid by the treasurer without specific order or audit of the board. Compensation for services of employees or officers regularly employed by the day, week, month, or year may be paid by the order of the treasurer for services actually rendered or performed without specific order or audit of the board. No wages shall be paid laborers except on a payroll certified as correct by the official of the village directly in charge of the work for which the money is being expended, and provided further that if the rules of the County Civil Service Commission have been extended to apply to such employees or officers by the treasurer, then the trustees shall not audit any such bills rendered for compensation for services, nor shall the mayor sign, nor the treasurer countersign, any orders for the payment of payroll for such employees or officers until such payroll shall have been submitted to the County Civil Service Commission and certified by it that the payment or employment of said employees or officers is in accordance with the civil service law.
Is there a second?
Second.
I feel much better now. All in favor? Aye. Motion approved. 57, Mindy.
Resolved that the Board of Trustees hereby authorizes the village administrator to approve the in-state conferences in accordance with General Municipal Law, Section 77-B, and further that all out-of-state conferences shall be approved by resolution of the Board of Trustees.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion approved. 58, Cully.
Resolved that the Board of Trustees hereby sets the standard business mileage rate for transportation expenses for village employees using their personal vehicle for village business as per the rate guidelines set forth by the Internal Revenue Service.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion approved. Joe, 59.
Resolved that the village treasurer is hereby authorized to implement the Village of Pleasantville's investment policy, which is a document filed in the office of the village clerk.
Why don't you just read the subheads so people are aware of what the content is?
Where are we?
Joe.
Yeah. Well, it involves, investment policy involves the scope, objectives, delegation of authority, prudence, diversification, internal controls, designation of depositories, collateralizing of deposits, safekeeping and collateralization, permitted investments, authorized financial institutions and dealers, purchase of investments, repurchase agreements, and that's it. Those are the headings, and of course each one has some body to it, and if anybody's interested in reading that, feel free to go to the village clerk's office and pick it up.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion approved. Number 60, Steve.
Whereas the Board of Trustees has determined to authorize payment in advance of audit of claims for public utility services, postage, credit card, merchant fees, freight, and express charges. And whereas all such claims shall be presented at the next regular meeting for audit. And whereas the claimant and officer incurring or approving the same shall be jointly and severally liable for any amount disallowed by the Board of Trustees. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Board of Trustees authorizes payment in advance of audit of claims for public utility services, postage, credit card merchant fees, freights, and express charges, and all such claims shall be presented at the next regular meeting for audit by the Board of Trustees.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion approved. 61.
As resolved that the Board of Trustees hereby adopts the Village of Pleasantville's purchasing policy, which document is in the office of the village clerk, and the purchasing policy is the procurement policy for the Village of Pleasantville, and it really just covers the what you have to go out to bid for and what the thresholds are for that and what should be included in the bid document, and that's pretty much it.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion approved. 62, Cully.
Resolved that the Board of Trustees hereby adopts the Village of Pleasantville's credit card policy. The document is filed in the office of the village clerk. This is a policy that talks about use of village credit cards. It includes general policy guidelines, treasurer and our deputy treasurer responsibilities, cardholder responsibilities, lost or stolen credit cards, appropriate use of cards.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion approved. Number 63, Joe.
Whereas the New York State retirement system requires that elected and appointed officials who are members of the New York State retirement system report their time, and whereas the New York State retirement system requires that we set a standard work day for elected and appointed officials, and whereas the New York State retirement system requires that these hours be reported based on a timekeeping system, now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Trustees of the Village of Pleasantville hereby establishes the following standard work day for the following employees and will report these days worked to the New York State and local employees retirement system based on a timekeeping system or record of activity maintained and submitted to the village clerk by the following employees: the mayor, 6 hours per day; trustees, 6 hours per day; acting village justice, 6 hours per day; prosecutor, 6 hours per day; village clerk, 7 hours per day; treasurer, 7 hours per day; and the deputy treasurer, 7 hours per day.
Is there a second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion approved. 64, Steve.
Resolved that the Board of Trustees hereby establishes employee eligibility for health insurance as required by the Patient Protection and Affordable Care Act as follows. Standard measurement period will run from December 1st through the next year's November 30th for a period of 12 months. This is an annual time frame and will occur every year. Standard administrative period will run from the end of the standard measurement period of November 30 through December 31st. This is an annual time frame and will occur every year. Standard stability period will run for a 12-month period from January 1st until December 31st. This is an annual time frame as well and will occur every year.
Is there a second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion approved. That is the last of our exciting organizational meeting resolutions. We will be back in your presence a week from today, which is April 11, with our regular agenda, including the public hearing on the proposed village budget that begins June 1, 2016. So we encourage you to visit or watch on TV. PCTV76.org is also available as an option for a live and an on-demand webcast. So we'll be back Monday, April 11 at 8 p.m. with our budget hearing and regular meeting. There a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Good evening. Thank you. See you next week.